Hello, hello, happy Friday, and welcome to our Facebook Live here inside of the Facebook group. For those of you joining me in the replay, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube, make sure to go ahead and say hi in the comment section below, just so I can see who's watching and who's here. Today we're going to be talking about the Instagram grid, which is something that I've been shying away from a little bit, but leaning into more lately. So the Instagram grid has a certain aesthetic, so we're going to talk about today the different ways that you can capitalize on that and follow through on creativity. Quick question though, as we get started, do you have already an aesthetic on Instagram? Does your Instagram grid layout look a certain way? Do you make sure that the pieces come together in a certain way? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm just pulling up our group live questions so that I can see what you're saying. And again, if you're watching this as a replay, this is inside of the Savvy Social Crew Facebook group, and I answer questions live every Friday. I took almost 6 weeks off at the beginning of this year, but we're diving back into the live elements. Awesome. All right. So today we're going to talk about the Instagram grid. And I think that this is a secondary way that you can communicate with your audience and show a level of professionalism. So the Instagram grid isn't necessary. I just want to emphasize that. It's not something that you have to do. I think it's a bonus. I think it's just a really nice way to showcase your professionalism. Now there's three different ways that you can have a grid layout, and so I'm going to cover those three different ways today, and I'm going to show you some examples as well as how you can lay out your own grid. So the first way, and I'm just pulling up my notes here, the first way is to use very specific colors on your Instagram grid. So I have an example here that I'm going to share my screen and show you. And give me one sec. Share the screen. Let's just share that part. Perfect. All right, so here's an example of how you can lay out your Instagram grid using a specific color. And this is usually how I like doing it, because you can see that all of her posts kind of have a certain flow to them, but even when she's using stock photography, she has a very specific color. And you can also see the repetition of certain templates. So she's got, let's say, these kind of quotes here. She's also got, oh, that really zoomed in, didn't it? She's also got these style quotes here. So you've got two different ways she can kind of talk about her services. And then again, even when she's using stock photography, she's making sure to use very specific colors, okay? So this, using specific colors. The second, here's another example of using specific colors, and this one's using like this light pink color. You can see that they kind of intersperse the light pink with almost like a black overlay. So they've got the light pink going on and then the black. And so you can use a pattern like this to kind of showcase your brand in an aesthetic way. Again, this is like an added bonus. I don't want you guys to get caught up too much in the aesthetic, but it can be a really nice professional way to showcase your content on Instagram. Okay, sorry, I'm just pulling up the questions here in case I miss any. Turn off the volume. Okay, awesome. All right, so the third way you can do this is using a particular filter. And so this is an example of, using a pattern. So this is an example of a person that kind of uses both the filter and the pattern. So they have these kind of beige-ish squares that they're posting, and you can see that they're always posting it as in every other pattern. So beige, then a picture, beige, and a picture, and then also all of their pictures do have a certain filter, which I'll show you as the next example here. But their whole feed has a theme. Now I do want to remind you that your posts are mixed into a bunch of other posts. So for the most part, it doesn't matter that much, but I do think it's something cool for that initial viewer. So this is for that person who's heading on over to your profile for the very first time, and they see what you're all about and they scroll through. That's really the only time that people are looking through this, is when they first find you. So this is a really nice first impression. I like to think of it as like dressing up for the party. So on any given day, you're mixed into all the other posts. We're all looking at hundreds of posts every day. But when you first meet someone, like, let's say for a job interview, you want to wear your nice clothes, give a firm handshake. This is that. This is that whole presentation. All right. Here's another example of a pattern here from Printed Mint. And you can see that they use, this is the pattern that I wanted to show. It's almost like a diagonal here. So they use these posts, and then in between they've got other posts. So they've got like the squares going diagonally. They'll do it again here, diagonal squares, which I thought was really cute when I was first looking at their account. I was like, this is adorable. But I think I would have liked their posts anyway. So you can see that they've got a customer love template. They've got this kind of quote here as well, and then they mix in stock photos. So you can see at a glance kind of what the overall vibe is of their account. Let me find one more here. They've got square, 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 like in a diagonal here. So that's a pattern that they've chose to do on purpose, not an accident. All right, the last way you can do this is with a filter. And I do find that this is the method that I like for personal accounts, or if you have a product-based account. So I'll use one of our past clients here, Tonica Kombucha. So they use a specific filter on their posts, so they all look the same. They're very bright and white, and the Tonica is front and center. So very bright, white, vibrant colors. Okay. Another example of this is Jenna Kutcher. She does, like, all of her photos have the same edit to them, the same style of edit. And there's a few different tools you can use to get this aesthetic. I've been playing around with it myself on my account, so you'll notice I have like almost like a bluish tone, bright, highlighted exposure there. And so I'm playing around with this as well with my own account. Now I'm going to scroll back a ways and show you, let's say earlier this year, it was very different, more hodgepodge, which again is fine. This worked for years for me, but lately I've been doing this kind of, I don't know, muted style and aesthetic. Now, if you're looking for a way to edit this, if you're looking for image editors for aesthetic, drop a comment below and I'll send you some of my favorites that I use, VisoCam, Snapseed, and yeah, those are the main two that I use to edit, and then I'll also just use Instagram's editor as well. So if you're interested in those links, let me know. I'll send you the direct links. Now, how do you plan this out? How do you plan out an aesthetic like this? Well, I created a tool inside of the Savvy Social School that I want to show you guys today. That's called the Instagram Grid template. So essentially, I've created a mock-up of what your Instagram account would look like. You can add your username here. You can add in how many followers you want. You can add your bio if you want, your profile picture. And then you can start populating what your feed would look like. So this will help you plan out your posts so that you have an aesthetic. So for example, if you wanted to do this pattern here, it takes some planning. And so using a tool like this will help you understand how to plan that. So just to give you an idea, here's one of our clients that we did this for recently, brand new client, where we wanted it to have a certain tone to the account, but we're not necessarily looking for a pattern or anything like that. So we just wanted to make sure all of the posts look good together. And they do. So there you have it. So you can get this if you're a member of the Savvy Social School. There's a bunch of other programs that do something similar. Planoly is one of them that does something similar. You can also try Later. I think they have the scheduling feature. And then, of course, my favorite, Social Report, they have this feature as well, where you can preview the posts that are coming up and plan your current post accordingly. All right, I'm going to stop sharing for a sec and check in to see if we have any questions. Any questions about planning out your Instagram feed? Now, I also want to take a moment to talk about our upcoming masterclass. So we've got a free Instagram masterclass. It's called the Instagram Stories Masterclass. Got real creative with that name. And I'm going to drop a link into the comment section below. And I'll see if I can edit. I don't know if I can go back and edit the post. Oh, yeah, I can. Okay, join the masterclass. So I'll have a link to this as well. So this is a masterclass I did almost exactly a year ago, and Instagram Stories has changed. Plus, we've done a lot with our clients that testing strategies that work. And so I'm going to talk about that in the masterclass. I'm going to talk about how you can use something like Canva.com to create your Instagram stories so you don't have to show your face all the time, or so that you don't have to show your personal life. Okay. And then we're also going to talk about how to have follow through on your story. So you may see you post one story and then people drop off the second, the third, the fourth. So I want to show you how you can make sure that people are watching your entire story. So we're going to talk about that in the masterclass as well. The reason that I'm updating this is because I needed to update this material for the school anyways. So those of you who watch the masterclass, you will have basically exclusive access to something that's going to be in the school afterwards as well. But we're going to do it as a limited time masterclass for everyone, and then it lives on inside of the Savvy Social School. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you're interested in the grid template, I'm going to put the link to the Savvy Social School in the comment section below. That's the best way to sign up and get all of the free things just like this template, plus you get done for you posts. So you can take our posts that we've already made for you, put them in the aesthetic, see how it works for you, add in some stock photos and go. We also have training materials. I teach you how to create a strategy that works with your Instagram grid and so much more. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to answer them, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye for now.